Welcome back. And a quick little news of the day video for today. Sam Reinhart has signed an extension with the Sabres for 1 year. $5.2 million. Yeah, I already got the brand new Buffalo. I'm just kidding. This is an old Buffalo jersey. It's just they went back to the old one just with some silver. They did add some nice graininess to the logo. So I'll have that at some point, but I don't yet. So I figured I'll just wear the throwback, the old one. But yeah, Sam Reinhart, who will be wearing the old one, which is the new one, like Ottawa and Calgary. It's almost as if teams all this year went, let's just go back. Back is better, right? Yeah, 2020's been a sack of doorknobs. Let's just go back. So, yeah, Sam Reinhart stays for another year in Buffalo, $5.2 million. It's a lot of money, but Reinhardt's been pretty darn good. So, I still think Reinhart takes criticism from some that I don't understand. But, we'll see. We'll see what the ceiling is for Sam Reinhart, right? So yeah, congratulations to him on being $5.2 million richer, minus deferment, minus his escrow, minus taxes, he's still got a lot of money. Training camps. Training camps are being earmarked as starting 14 days before the season starts. That seems close considering how long some of these guys have been off. Even for teams that played in the return, if you only played 3 to 5 games, if you were out in the play-in round, that's 3 games, potentially 5 games at most, from March till January. So that doesn't feel like it's a lot of time. So these guys had better be taking up the NHL teams on their offer to be working out at local rinks and getting themselves in shape, because that's not a lot of time. It'll be an extra 7 to 10 days for the teams that did not qualify for the play-in round. There were rumors during the spring that during the summer, actually, when they announced the return, that the 7 teams that missed the return would be playing amongst themselves before the other NHL teams came back. They'd be given a chance to warm up against one another before the other teams came back. Maybe we get some sort of a preseason for teams that didn't have any games in the return that we don't see go to the other 24. But again, for 8 of those teams, they only played 3 to 5 games. So again, we'll see how it goes, but that's the plan. And the start date is yet to be determined. Once the NHL and the NHLPA sit down and start hashing it out, we will certainly see plenty of people that say cancel the season, because those people are going to come back. And we'll also see some who have the opposite opinion. Just everything, just run it like a regular season. Who cares? And for me, I'm more of the mind that as long as they can do it safely, as long as they can do it in a manner that gets the season done with integrity, then I don't have a problem with it. And I thought the return, the bubble scenario they had in Edmonton and Toronto was perfect, so I trust the league to do it right this time. I do. I trust the league completely, because I trust the union too. Now, Vancouver. Vancouver announced yesterday. So they had to make up their mind on this. So when they signed Jake Virtanen and they went over the salary cap, they had a 48-hour window in which they could initiate another buyout. And this is where those that don't understand the Louis Eriksson contract start saying, well, why don't they just buy out Eriksson? Because they only save $300,000 in cap space if they buy out Louis. You can't buy out Louis Eriksson's contract until next year. Next year, you can buy it out. This year, you can't. Next year, it's a much better cap saving the Canucks get. Much more lucrative for them to do it next year than this year because of bonuses and the way that the buyouts work. But they're not going to be doing that. So they announced they're not going to be buying anybody out. Keep in mind, they're currently $1.5 million over the salary cap. So how is this going to work? People who say, well, if they're over the cap, how are you going to get under it? How are these teams going to get under it? You waive guys. You waive them and then you send them to the minors. Now, it's not like in the Wade Redden days where the Rangers signed Redden and they did not like the return, so they just sent his entire contract to the minors. To which the NHL said, maybe we need to amend this. So they did, and they made it so you can't bury an entire contract in the minors. If that was a possibility, I think the Canucks would have demoted Louis Eriksson to the AHL last year. But Eriksson and Berchi, I think, are the obvious ones that currently count under their cap who get sent to the minors. When you get sent to the minors this year, the amount that gets written off of the cap hit is the league minimum, which is $700,000, and $375,000 on top of it. So for each player you send to the AHL, that clears waivers and goes down, you save $1.075 million. So if they send down Eriksson, they send down Verchi, that's around $2.15 million that they're saving under the cap. And if Furland ends up on the LTIR, that saves $4 million and they're fine. But we know Verchi's going to be going down to the minors, and odds are Eriksson probably does too. And then whatever is left on the roster, there's your Canucks. So it's not a perfect scenario, and there's other money that's going to have to get moved out, because people are going to say to me, and rightfully so, you're not straight saving that money because now you got to bring guys up to replace them. Agreed, but it does start to get a little bit better, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. But this is why you don't buy out Eriksson. Because if you buy out Eriksson, you save $300,000. If you send him to the minors, you save $1.075 million in cap space. So, yeah, it's dicey, but the Canucks are doing their best to stay under it. Bertuzzi and the Wings are going to arbitration. They could not come to an agreement. So we'll have some kind of a decision on Bertuzzi soon. Other arbitration eligible players are either going to sign or go to arbitration. Keep in mind, arbitration runs until November 8th. After November 8th, maybe we see Hoffman get signed somewhere. But in between now and then, who knows? There's a lot of money that's already spoken for, and teams just don't have space. But let me know your thoughts in the comments section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.